Commander Zack Swoon stood on the bridge of the Confederation flagship, his 4 eyes fixed on the view screen. The human ship approached slowly. It was smaller than he expected, sleek and white against the darkness of space. The vessel carried the name US Intrepid on its hull in strange human symbols that his translator converted. "They are hailing us, Commander," said Officer Peltix from the communication station. Zack Swoon smoothed his ceremonial robes. This moment would make history, the first official meeting between the Galactic Confederation and humans after years of distant observation. "Accept the transmission," he ordered. The screen flickered and showed the bridge of the human ship. In the center stood a human with short yellow hair wearing a blue uniform with silver markings. The human's skin was pale, and its face had 2 eyes, a small nose, and a mouth. "Greetings, Commander Zack Swoon. I am Captain Samantha Carter of the United Earth Fleet. We come in peace and friendship," said the human. Then the human did something disturbing. Its face changed. The lips pulled back to reveal rows of white, straight teeth. The eyes narrowed slightly. Zack Swoon felt his spine ridges stiffen with instinctive alarm. On his world, showing teeth was a threat display. "Captain Carter," he replied carefully, "the Confederation welcomes this historic meeting." The human maintained that strange expression throughout their conversation. When they discussed meeting arrangements, the expression sometimes grew wider, showing more teeth. Zack Swoon noticed other humans in the background making similar faces. Later that day, the human delegation arrived on the Confederation ship. Zack Swoon watched as 6 humans stepped from their shuttle. All wore formal uniforms, with Captain Carter leading them. When they saw the assembled Confederation officials, all the humans showed their teeth again. "Welcome aboard," said Zack Swoon, trying not to stare at their faces. "Thank you for your hospitality," said Captain Carter. "We bring greetings from Earth and look forward to productive discussions." In the meeting chamber, the talks began. The Confederation representatives sat on one side of a large table, the humans on the other. As discussions progressed about trade routes and shared space, Zack Swoon studied the humans carefully. He noticed something interesting. When the discussions became tense, when Counselor Drex mentioned restricted territories near Earth colonies, Captain Carter's teeth showing became more pronounced. The other humans followed her example. Clearly, this was some form of submission or anxiety display. During a break, Zack Swoon spoke quietly with his advisor, Miralos. "They show their teeth when they feel threatened," he observed. "I believe it indicates nervousness or submission." "Yes, Commander," agreed Miralos. "And did you notice how Captain Carter does this more than the others? Perhaps it signals her lower status among their kind, despite her title." "Excellent observation," said Zack Swoon. "This could be useful in negotiations." When talks resumed, Zack Swoon tested his theory. He deliberately mentioned the Confederation's superior fleet size and advanced weapons. Just as he expected, Captain Carter responded with that same expression, showing even more teeth than before. "While we respect the Confederation's military achievements," she said with that strange face, "Earth's defense capabilities are also considerable." To Zack Swoon, her expression confirmed weakness. No Confederation leader would show teeth while discussing military power unless they felt deeply insecure. The first day of meetings ended with agreements to continue discussions tomorrow. As the humans prepared to return to their ship, Captain Carter approached Zack Swoon directly. "Commander, I believe we've made good progress today," she said, looking directly at him with that teeth-showing expression. "I look forward to tomorrow's session. I think we'll find we have much in common." Zack Swoon nodded politely, but inwardly he felt confident. These humans, with their strange submission displays, would be easy to manage in negotiations. Their captain particularly seemed eager to please, always showing those teeth when conversations became serious. How wrong he was. 2 months had passed since first contact. In that time, relations between humans and the Confederation had grown increasingly tense. The initial excitement of meeting a new species had faded, replaced by confusion and mistrust on both sides. Inside the Great Hall of the Confederation Council, Analyst Trivnox stood before the gathered leaders. His thin fingers adjusted the display controls as he prepared to present his findings. "Honored council members, I have completed my study of human expressions," he said. "My findings are both clear and concerning." The large screen behind him showed images of various humans with their teeth exposed. Most were from diplomatic meetings with the Confederation. As you can see, humans frequently bare their teeth during our interactions. Our xenopsychology team has analyzed this behavior extensively. Trivnox continued. "We believe this is an instinctive display when humans feel threatened or inferior." Council leader Vexstar leaned forward. "You are certain of this?" "Yes, leader. We have observed that tooth-baring increases when we discuss Confederation military strength or territorial claims. It is most pronounced when humans are outnumbered or outmatched." Trivnox changed the display to show Captain Carter during a recent negotiation. Her face showed what humans would recognize as a polite smile. Captain Carter shows this submissive expression more than most. We believe she may fear losing status among her own kind if negotiations fail. In the back of the chamber, Dr. Ilara Voss, a junior xenobiologist, frowned slightly. Something about this interpretation troubled her, but she remained silent for now. She needed more evidence before challenging the senior analyst. "What do you recommend?" asked Council Leader Vexstar. "A more assertive approach," Trivnox replied confidently. "Humans clearly respond to displays of strength. They expect dominant species to behave dominantly. Their submission gestures suggest they are waiting for us to take proper control of these interactions." The Council murmured in agreement. This aligned with their own cultural understanding, where clear hierarchy maintained peace. "Then we shall adjust our diplomatic strategy," declared Vexstar. "No more unnecessary concessions. If humans respond to strength with submission, we shall be strong." Meanwhile, aboard the U.S. Intrepid in orbit around the Confederation diplomatic station, Captain Samantha Carter sat in her ready room. Across from her was her second-in-command, Lieutenant Noah Daniels. "Their demands are getting more unreasonable," Carter said, looking at the datapad. "Yesterday they claimed mining rights to the Proxima system. Today they want restricted access zones near New Mars." "They seemed reasonable during first contact," said Daniels. "What changed?" Carter shook her head. "I'm not sure, but I've noticed something strange. Whenever we stand our ground firmly, they seem surprised, then back down temporarily." "Maybe they're testing our limits," suggested Daniels. "Perhaps." Carter smiled slightly. "But there's something else going on. When I met with Commander Zach Swoon this morning, I smiled professionally as always, but maintained our position on the trade routes. He seemed almost confused by this. Cultural differences, maybe. Possibly." Carter stood and walked to the viewport. "I'm sending my observations to Earth Command. In the meantime, we maintain a friendly but firm stance. No concessions on our core interests." "Yes, Captain," Daniels replied. Back on the Confederation station, Commander Zach Swoon reviewed footage of his meeting with Captain Carter. He paused on a frame showing her speaking firmly about human territorial rights while displaying what he interpreted as a fear grin. "Such strange creatures," he muttered. "They try to appear strong while their faces betray their weakness." He switched off the display and sent instructions for the next meeting. They would increase their demands further. The humans, with their submissive grins, would surely yield when faced with greater pressure. Neither side understood the dangerous misinterpretation that was building between them, a misunderstanding captured perfectly in the human captain's grin. Captain Carter stood on the bridge of the U.S. Intrepid, watching the view screen with steady eyes. The small human mining outpost on Asteroid KX-7 appeared as a cluster of lights against the dark rock. 3 Confederation ships hovered nearby, too close for comfort. "Status report," she said. Lieutenant Noah Daniels looked up from his console. "The mining team reports that Confederation ships arrived 6 hours ago. They're claiming this asteroid belt is now under their protection." "Protection from what?" Carter asked. though she already knew the answer. The Confederation had been pushing boundaries for weeks. They didn't specify, Captain. Carter nodded. Open a channel to the Lid Confederation ship. The screen flickered, and Commander Zack Swoon's four-eyed face appeared. He wore formal battle armor instead of diplomatic robes. Captain Carter, he said, your presence is unnecessary. This territory is now under Confederation oversight. Carter kept her expression calm. Commander, this mining operation has been legally established under Earth treaties for 3 years. Your ships are in human space. Zack Swoon's upper eyes narrowed. The Confederation has revised the territorial agreements. For safety reasons, all mining in this sector will now require Confederation permits and supervision. Carter listened patiently. When Zack Swoon finished, she smiled slightly. It was her professional, diplomatic smile, but it contained a firm resolve that any human would recognize. I'm afraid that's not acceptable, Commander. These miners have Earth permits. They will continue their work under Earth protection. Zack Swoon noticed her expression and misunderstood completely. In his mind, her tooth display confirmed she felt threatened, but was trying to hide it. This encouraged him to push harder. Captain, I have 3 ships to your 1. The logical course would be to withdraw while we finalize the new arrangements. Carter's smile widened slightly. Zack Swoon felt certain victory was near. What the commander didn't know was that Carter had already sent a coded signal when they entered the system. While maintaining eye contact with Zack Swoon, she pressed a button on her chair. Commander, I respect the Confederation's interest in this region, she said calmly. However, Earth will not be intimidated. Zack Swoon was confused. Her words showed defiance, but her facial expression, by his understanding, showed submission. Why would she continue this strange behavior when clearly outmatched? Your brave words do not change the situation, he said. We will give you 1 hour to withdraw your mining operation. Carter nodded, still smiling. 1 hour is sufficient time for a demonstration, I think. Demonstration? Zack Swoon asked. At that moment, his tactical officer called out in alarm. Commander, multiple ships detected emerging from behind the third moon. The view screen split to show 5 human vessels moving into formation. They had been hiding in the moon's sensor shadow, waiting for Carter's signal. On screen, Captain Carter's expression never changed. Her smile remained steady and controlled. Commander Zack Swoon, as you can see, Earth takes the protection of its citizens very seriously. Now we have 3 ships to your 3, plus my ship. I suggest you reconsider your position on this mining operation. Zack Swoon was deeply confused. The human captain was showing what he believed was a fear expression, yet she had secretly called for reinforcements and now held the tactical advantage. It made no sense in Confederation understanding of behavior. This changes nothing, he said, though with less conviction. Perhaps, said Carter, her smile never wavering. But it does suggest that further discussion might be more productive than threats. Around Zack Swoon, his officers waited nervously for orders. The human ships had taken up defensive positions around the mining outpost. We will withdraw to discuss this development, Zack Swoon finally said. But the Confederation's interest in this region remains. As the Confederation ships moved away, Lieutenant Daniels turned to Captain Carter. They seemed surprised by our response. Yes, Carter said thoughtfully. I think there's something about us they fundamentally don't understand. How right she was, and how dangerous that misunderstanding would soon become. Dr. Ilara Voss hurried through the curved hallways of the Confederation Central Science Academy. Her 3 assistants struggled to keep up, their arms full of data tablets and specimen containers. They had spent weeks gathering evidence, and today she would present her findings to the High Council. Are you certain about this, Doctor? Asked Nixtor, her senior assistant. Challenging the official position could harm your career. Ilara's spotted skin flushed dark blue with determination. Science is not about careers. It is about truth. They arrived at the council chambers where 12 of the most powerful members of the Confederation waited. The failed operation at the human mining outpost had caused much concern among Confederation leadership. Ilara stepped onto the speaking platform and activated her presentation system. "Honored council members," she began, "I come with urgent information about our understanding of humans." Council leader Vexstar gestured impatiently. "We have already heard from our behavior analysts. Human tooth displays indicate submission and fear." "With respect, leader, that conclusion is wrong," Ilara said firmly. "I have studied human expressions extensively. Their facial movements are complex and contextual." The screen behind her showed various human faces, all smiling in different ways. What we call tooth displays are known to humans as smiles or grins. They have many meanings depending on subtle differences in context. She displayed an image of a human mother smiling at a child. This expresses love and reassurance. Next came an image of friends laughing together. This shows joy and connection. Then her presentation changed to show human warriors throughout history. Soldiers, fighters, athletes, all grinning before battle or competition. These expressions, which look similar to the diplomatic smiles of Captain Carter, are not signs of fear. They are confidence displays. Humans often show teeth before fighting or competing. It is a sign of readiness, determination, and sometimes a warning. The council chamber filled with murmurs of disbelief. "That cannot be correct," said Military Commander Drez Khan. "Why would a species bare their teeth to show confidence? It makes no biological sense. Humans evolved as pack-hunting predators," Ilara explained. "Their teeth were once weapons. Showing them before conflict is an ancient instinct that evolved into a social signal. When Captain Carter smiles during tense negotiations, she is not showing fear. She is showing readiness." She displayed footage from the mining outpost confrontation. Note how her expression became more pronounced when she revealed her hidden ships. This was not fear. This was triumph. An elder council member named Jorvan leaned forward. "If this is true, then our entire diplomatic approach is based on a fundamental error." "Yes," Ilara agreed. "And that error may lead us into conflict we cannot win." Vexstar's face darkened with anger. "This directly contradicts our intelligence reports. What evidence do you have beyond these images?" "I have analyzed thousands of human cultural artifacts. Their stories, news reports, historical accounts. In all of them, this pattern holds true. When humans face challenges confidently, they often display teeth." Jorvan looked troubled. "If the doctor is correct, our actions may be provoking the humans rather than asserting dominance." "Nonsense," snapped Military Commander Drez Khan. "We have observed consistent patterns. When we show strength, they show teeth. It is clearly submission." "You are seeing what you expect to see," Ilara insisted. "The humans are not backing down. They are preparing to fight if necessary." Vexstar rose from his seat. "Dr. Voss, your theory directly challenges established intelligence. It seems you have been influenced by human propaganda. This hearing is concluded." After being dismissed, Ilara walked quickly to her laboratory. She had expected resistance but not complete rejection. Now she had only one option left. She composed a secure message to Alan Wright, the human cultural attaché she had met during an exchange program. The message contained all her research about the misunderstanding of human expressions. "Your leaders must understand," she wrote. "The Confederation is dangerously misreading human intentions. They think your smiles show weakness when they actually show strength. This confusion may lead to war." She sent the message, knowing it might end her career. But if it prevented conflict, that price was worth paying. Captain Samantha Carter sat in her command chair on the U.S. Intrepid. The ship moved quietly through what should have been empty space in the TOS CD system. They were on a routine patrol, checking sensor beacons along the border of human territory. "Anything unusual, Lieutenant Daniels?" she asked. "No, Captain. All readings normal." Daniels tapped his console, cycling through sensor data. "Wait, I'm picking up something near the third planet." Carter leaned forward. Can you identify it? Before Daniels could answer, the ship's warning systems activated. Red lights flashed across the bridge. Multiple ships decloaking. Called the tactical officer. 3 Confederation warships, Captain. On the main view screen, 3 large vessels appeared where empty space had been moments before. They were arranged in a triangle formation, blocking the Intrepid's path forward and its retreat. "They've surrounded us," said Daniels, his voice tense. Carter remained calm. "Open communication channels." The screen changed to show the face of a Confederation officer Carter hadn't met before. He had darker skin than Commander Zach Spoon and wore elaborate armor with many insignia. "I am Admiral Krell of the Confederation Fleet," he announced. "Your ship has violated sovereign Confederation space. You will power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded." Carter kept her expression neutral. "Admiral Krell, I am Captain Samantha Carter of the U.S. Intrepid. According to all recognized charts, we are in neutral space, not Confederation territory." "The borders have been revised," said Krell. "This system now belongs to the Confederation." Carter knew this was false. This was a deliberate ambush, not a misunderstanding. "Admiral, our mission is peaceful. We are simply maintaining sensor equipment. If the Confederation has border concerns, they should be addressed through proper diplomatic channels." Krell's upper eyes narrowed. "No more discussions. Surrender your vessel immediately." Carter paused, studying the Admiral's face. Then, slowly, her expression changed. The polite diplomatic look was replaced by something different, a tight, controlled grin that didn't reach her eyes. It was an expression no Confederation official had seen on a human before. Admiral Krell noticed the change but misinterpreted it completely. In his mind, this new tooth display must indicate extreme fear. The human captain was finally showing her true feelings now that she faced real danger. "Admiral Krell," Carter said, her voice steady despite her predatory grin. "Am I to understand that the Confederation is declaring war on Earth?" Krell felt confidence surge through him. The human was terrified, showing maximum submission displays. Now was the time to press his advantage. "This is not war, Captain. This is establishing proper order. Your ship will be studied and your crew detained as a lesson to Earth. Power down your systems now." Carter's grin remained fixed as she pressed a button on her chair arm. "Computer, activate Protocol Omega." Suddenly, the Intrepid released a concentrated energy pulse. It wasn't a weapon. It was a specialized electromagnetic wave that washed over the Confederation ships. Their weapon systems went offline instantly. On the view screen, Admiral Krell's face showed shock. "What have you done?" he demanded. Carter leaned forward, that same tight grin on her face. The U.S. Intrepid was retrofitted last month with special systems designed to test Confederation technology. "You see, Admiral, we've been aware of your ship's cloaking capabilities for some time. We've just been waiting for someone to make a move like this so we could test our countermeasures." She stood up, her expression making Krell increasingly uncomfortable. "Your weapons will remain offline for approximately 30 minutes. That gives you time to reconsider whether you really want to start a war with Earth." Behind Carter, the bridge crew all wore similar expressions: focused, alert, ready. What the aliens saw as fear grins were actually the looks of warriors prepared for battle. For the first time, Admiral Krell felt a chill of doubt. Something about these humans didn't make sense. Why would they look so afraid yet act so boldly? He was beginning to realize there was much about humans the Confederation did not understand. Alan Wright walked quickly down the polished hallway of the Confederation Central Science Academy. The human cultural attaché had received Dr. Ilara Voss's urgent message 3 days ago. Now, after pulling every diplomatic string he could reach, he had arranged an emergency meeting with key Confederation leaders. 2 security officers escorted him to a large circular room. Inside waited 5 high-ranking Confederation officials, including Council Leader Vex Dar and Commander Zach Spoon. Dr. Voss stood nervously to one side, her spotted skin pale with stress. "Thank you for agreeing to this meeting," Alan said, nodding respectfully to the officials. "Your request mentioned critical information regarding human Confederation relations," said Vexstar coldly. "After the incident with Admiral Krell, we are listening, but our patience is limited." News of the failed ambush had spread quickly through Confederation leadership. No one understood how Captain Carter had known about their trap, or how the Intrepid had disabled 3 warships without firing a single shot. Alan activated a small projector he had brought. "Leaders of the Confederation, I believe we have a fundamental misunderstanding between our species that is pushing us toward unnecessary conflict." He displayed footage from various human contexts: sports competitions, military ceremonies, business negotiations, and friendly gatherings. In each scene, humans were smiling or grinning. "Dr. Voss has discovered something important. You have been interpreting human facial expressions incorrectly." Commander Zaxvoon leaned forward. "What do you mean?" Dr. Voss stepped forward, her scientific confidence overcoming her fear. "The tooth display humans call smiling has many meanings depending on context. It is rarely a sign of fear or submission as we believed." She pointed to the different images. "This smile shows happiness. This one shows friendship. This one shows confidence before competition. And this one," she displayed an image of soldiers grinning before a mission, "shows readiness for challenge or combat." The room fell silent as the implication sunk in. "Are you saying we have been misreading human intentions completely?" asked a military advisor. "Yes," said Alan. "When Captain Carter smiles during tense negotiations, she isn't showing fear. She's showing confidence, determination, and sometimes warning." He displayed side-by-side images of Captain Carter in various diplomatic meetings. "Look at her eyes, not just her mouth. See how they change. A diplomatic smile has relaxed eyes. A warning smile has focused, intense eyes." Commander Zaxvoon stared at the images, remembering every interaction with the human captain. "So when we increased pressure, and she showed more teeth, she wasn't submitting," Alan confirmed. "She was showing increased resolve." Alan then played internal human military communications that Earth Command had agreed to share as a gesture of good faith. In them, human officers discussed Confederation behavior. "They consistently back down when we stand firm," said one human admiral in the recording. "They seem to misread our diplomatic stance as weakness. We should maintain professional courtesy while being prepared for possible aggression." Vexstar's 4 eyes widened in shock. "They think we are backing down. From your perspective, you were showing strength and seeing submission," explained Alan. "From our perspective, we were showing reasonable firmness and seeing hesitation." Dr. Voss displayed data from her research. Human smiles evolved from ancient threat displays. Showing teeth was originally a warning. Over thousands of years, it evolved into multiple social signals. But the warning aspect remains, especially in conflict situations. "If this is true," said Commander Zaxvoon slowly, "then our entire approach has been counterproductive." "Worse," said Alan. "You've been unintentionally provoking a species that has been deliberately restraining itself." He showed footage of Captain Carter during the ambush incident. Her tight, predatory grin was clearly visible as she activated the weapon countermeasures. This expression is not fear. It is what humans call a battle grin, a sign that a human has accepted the possibility of conflict and is fully committed to action. The Confederation leaders exchanged troubled looks. For months, they had been interpreting human behavior exactly backward, seeing submission where there was determination, fear where there was warning. "We have made a terrible mistake," whispered Vexstar. Despite the new understanding reached by some Confederation leaders, not everyone was convinced. Admiral Krell and his supporters among the military elite refused to believe humans had been showing strength rather than weakness all along. "It is a human trick," Krell insisted during an emergency war council. "They are trying to confuse us with false information about their expressions." He stood before the military high command, his armor gleaming under the bright lights. The humiliation of having his ships disabled by the U.S. Intrepid still burned within him. "We cannot allow humans to establish dominance through deception," he continued. "We must show them true Confederation power." Despite objections from Commander Zaxboon and warnings from Dr. Voss, Krell convinced enough military leaders to support a decisive action. Within hours, 3 battle groups launched toward New Haven, a human colony with 5,000 settlers. On Earth, the warning came too late. Emergency signals flashed in the United Earth Fleet headquarters as reports of the attack arrived. "Multiple Confederation warships approaching New Haven colony," reported the communications officer. "They're demanding immediate surrender of the colony." Admiral Lisa Perry, commander of Earth's Defense Fleet, turned to her staff. "Launch all available ships. Priority protection of civilian population." Within hours, 20 human vessels were speeding toward New Haven. Among them was the U.S. Intrepid, with Captain Carter at the helm. "Status report," Carter said as they dropped out of faster-than-light travel near the colony. 7 Confederation ships in orbit around New Haven, Lieutenant Daniels reported. "They've landed ground forces, but haven't attacked civilian centers yet." "Open a channel to the Confederation command ship," ordered Carter. Admiral Krell's face appeared on screen. He looked surprised to see her. "Captain Carter, you are outnumbered. This colony will demonstrate the true hierarchy between our species." Carter's expression changed to that now familiar battle grin. This time, Krell watched her more carefully, noticing how her eyes narrowed with focus rather than fear. "Admiral Krell," she replied calmly, "you are making the serious mistake. Earth will defend its citizens." Around her on the bridge, human officers maintained similarly calm, confident expressions. None showed panic despite the dangerous situation. Krell was disturbed by their composure. According to everything he had believed, they should be showing extreme submission displays when faced with superior numbers. "Your reinforcements are still hours away," he said. "Surrender now to prevent unnecessary loss of life." Instead of responding with words, Carter nodded to her communications officer, who sent a signal to the rest of the human fleet. Immediately, the 20 human ships moved into an attack formation that Confederation tactics had never encountered. Over the secure communication channel, the human captains coordinated with unnerving efficiency. Their voices remained steady, their expressions controlled and focused. Many wore the same expression as Captain Carter. That unsettling grin that Krell now began to understand was not fear at all. "All ships, execute pattern Delta," Carter ordered calmly. "Priority on protecting civilian centers." The human vessels moved with precision that surprised the Confederation forces. They didn't hesitate or show any sign of intimidation despite being outnumbered. During the space battle that followed, Krell watched in growing horror as the human ships maneuvered with unexpected aggression. They didn't fight like a species that feared conflict. They fought like warriors who had accepted its necessity. As the Intrepid led a daring attack run against his flagship, Krell opened a direct channel to Captain Carter. "Why do you look pleased?" he demanded, genuinely confused. "You face possible destruction. Yet you show teeth as if enjoying this moment." Carter's grin didn't waver as she replied, "Admiral, humans smile in many situations. When we commit to necessary action, even dangerous action, this expression helps us focus. It's how we face challenges throughout our evolution." For the first time, Admiral Krell began to truly understand. These weren't the expressions of a submissive species. They were the expressions of predators ready for battle. 2 weeks after the battle at New Haven, Captain Samantha Carter stood in the grand meeting hall of the Confederation capital. The room was filled with representatives from both species. The human victory had been decisive but measured. They had disabled the Confederation fleet without destroying any ships, showing both strength and restraint. Commander Zaxboon approached Carter before the peace talks began. He looked different now, humbler, wiser. "Captain Carter," he said quietly, "I must apologize for our grave misunderstanding." Carter nodded. "Cultural differences can be dangerous when we don't recognize them, Commander." "Indeed." Zach Swoon hesitated. Your expressions, they confused us completely. Carter smiled slightly, but this time Zach Swoon studied her whole face carefully. He noticed how her eyes softened, how the muscles around her mouth relaxed. This was not the battle Grin he had seen during the conflict. This was something gentler. May I ask a personal question? He said. Of course. During our first meeting, months ago, when you showed teeth, what were you trying to express? Carter considered this. Professional welcome. Diplomatic openness. It's our standard expression when meeting new people in formal situations, and during negotiations when we mentioned our military power. Confidence that we could find peaceful solutions, but readiness if we couldn't. She looked at him directly. A smile can mean many things, Commander. It depends on subtle changes in context. The formal peace conference began, with Council Leader Vexdar and Earth's Ambassador Kelly Grant leading the discussions. Dr. Ilara Voss sat nearby, now honored for her crucial research that had helped prevent greater bloodshed. As part of the agreement, Captain Carter gave a presentation on human expressions. The room was filled with curious Confederation officials eager to understand their former enemies. These are the main types of human smiles, Carter explained, showing images on a large screen. This is joy. This is friendship. This is diplomatic politeness. This is nervous anxiety. She paused before showing the final image, herself during the battle, with her focused eyes and tight grin. And this is determination, what some call a battle grin. It appears when humans face challenges and are fully committed to overcoming them. A Confederation scientist raised a hand. How do we tell the difference? They look similar to us. Look at the eyes, not just the mouth, Carter advised. A genuine friendly smile reaches the eyes, making them crease at the corners. A diplomatic smile keeps the eyes neutral. A battle grin narrows the eyes with focus. Commander Zach Swoon stood up. If I may demonstrate what I've learned. He attempted a human-style smile. It looked strange on his alien face, but the effort was sincere. Is this friendship? He asked. Carter nodded with a genuine smile of her own. Yes, Commander. That's exactly right. The peace agreement established a comprehensive cultural exchange program. Both species would send teachers, scientists, and diplomats to learn each other's customs, expressions, and communication styles. After the ceremony, Captain Carter and Commander Zach Swoon walked through the Confederation gardens. We almost went to war because we didn't understand a smile, Zach Swoon said, shaking his head. Communication is always more complex than we realize, Carter replied. We interpret everything through our own cultural lens. What still troubles me, said Zach Swoon, is how close we came to serious conflict when neither side truly wanted it. Carter nodded thoughtfully. Perhaps that's the most important lesson. When meeting a new species, we must question our basic assumptions about everything, even a smile. They stopped at a viewing platform overlooking the capital city. Human and Confederation citizens walked together below, some talking animatedly, others observing quietly. It will take time, said Zach Swoon, but I believe we can learn to understand each other. Carter smiled, a real smile of hope and friendship. This time, Zach Swoon recognized it correctly. Understanding, he said, attempting another human smile. That is where peace begins.